Hi, welcome to my studio space. My name is Sally Tiska Rice, and I'm happy to have a crew here. I'll talk a little bit about my artwork. On this wall I have watercolors. I work in all different mediums and take commission orders for things such as home portraits, people, pets. I've done a few family churches. Working in all different mediums has been a lot of fun. I can't just come up with one specific medium that suits my soul. I love to play with all the different mediums. I love blending. I enjoy working with all the colors. I was born and raised here in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and I'm the youngest of 4 children. My father was a heating and cooling man that drew blueprints, and I would sneak downstairs after Mom went to sleep, and I'd watch Dad and see what he was working on for his blueprints. And he tried to occupy me, and he gave me a glass of milk and some paper and a pencil, and that was the beginning of my love for art. I had a fortunate childhood. I think that my family, my mom knitted, she made terrariums with many plants. Dad made our Halloween costumes. All of my siblings paint. I have cousins on both sides of my family. I have an artist cousin, Joni Tiska Kennedy, down in North Carolina. On the other side of the family, my cousin Jim Favor was also an artist. And being the youngest child, I learned a lot from family. So through the years, I basically hid out in the art rooms throughout school. I had some great teachers. I had Carl Fritz and Mr. Lepore at Pittsfield High, and through them I worked in multiple mediums, including pottery, and graduated from high school with awards and scholarships. And I took some classes, enrolled in Berkshire Community College, and didn't finish. I started working at Crane stationery, painting stationery and gilding stationery. I have a 25-year career with them, and painted for Tiffany and Cartier and personal orders for many famous people, but always behind the scenes. I did some stationery for Elizabeth Taylor, Henry Winkler, Brad Pitt, and even Ozzy Osbourne and his wife. So I've had a lot of fun. I've never got to meet any of these people, and they had no idea who painted their stationery, but I'm currently recovering from my 4th spine surgery, and I have some paralysis in my left leg, and I contribute this artwork as a huge healing benefit that's helped me to work in watercolor specifically. It's lightweight, it's portable, you can start and stop because it has drying time, so if I'm in pain or uncomfortable, I get to move around. And I've been working in warmer, brighter colors, which feeds my soul and gets my mind off of the physical problems and all of the other things that go along with it, like a new life. I'm no longer with Crane. How am I gonna get by? So by painting, you forget all those things, and you think about the piece that you're working on versus everything else that's going on in the world. Sometimes I'll start a piece late morning, and the next thing I know, it's already 1 o'clock, and it's right past lunch, and I didn't even remember to eat. Recently, I've been working on paintings both here at my studio and at home. At home, I'm currently working on a home portrait. A woman, Christine, contacted me. Her granddaughter's getting married, and she had no idea what to get for a wedding gift. And sentimental commission paintings are wonderful gifts for a hard-to-shop for person, whether it's for a wedding gift or anniversary or anything like that. So that's a little about the commission works. But what you see here on the wall are paintings that just come from being inspired by my environment, being inspired by the Berkshires. And some of the pieces I have entered in some different shows. This one was entered into the Blandford Fair. I entered 3 pieces, and I was fortunate out of all of the paintings that all 3 of them were chosen for ribbons. It was what they call blind judging, so the names were blocked on the paintings, and because I work in a lot of different styles, they had no idea that the 3 pieces were all belonging to the same artist until it was revealed and they gave the ribbons. This painting here, her name is Edith. She is a commission piece for Molly Gardner in New York State, and I also entered her into a international competition, and there were thousands and thousands of paintings in that. And while she did not win first place, she did make it into the last 25 of the national competitions. So Molly's quite proud of her chicken Edith, and I'm proud of her as well. This piece here is a pencil sketch. I mentioned the recovery from surgery. In the beginning, when I first came home from the hospital, it was easy to sit down in the recliner with a paper and pencil and sketch. With sketching, I'll use multiple pencils with different hardness in the lead, and blending tools that are basically paper wound tightly and sharpened to appear similar to a pencil to get the blending effect. I like to have some sharper edges, but also do a lot of blending to have interest and have some of the shapes a little softer on the edges. This piece here, the birch trees, this is inspired by looking out the window in the kitchen. So this is basically the view that I see out my back window. And initially, it is a winter scene. I usually work with a lot of cool colors, but lately I did mention I'm warming up with different colors, and in this one I did add some of the warmer colors in the piece. And then these paintings are inspired by my mom and my grandma. My mom loved to garden as well as do the terrariums that I had mentioned previously. And we always had cut flowers on the table at home. And she grew cosmos and peonies and bachelor buttons and all those fun things. So these paintings here were inspired by that. The deer over here is another inspired by Peru, Massachusetts. In fact, yesterday I had noticed the dog sound asleep on the couch, but his ear kept twitching, so I walked over to look at him. Scout's getting older, so I just wanted to make sure he was okay, and when I walked over to him, I think he was actually in his sleep, sensing that we had a visitor in the backyard. We had a beautiful, large female deer in the backyard. The cardinals, again, another painting that was, my mom and dad were on my mind. My dad, being a metal worker, he also made metal sculptures and birdhouses out of copper, and they watched the birds out their living room window. And it's kind of a spiritual piece to me. It brings mom and dad to my heart. This is painted in acrylic paint, golden acrylic, and I tend to use a lot of watercolor techniques, even in the other mediums, where I'll thin them out and water them down and build them up with different layers so that you can see some depth, like some of the background, and then the other things will be moving forward with the thicker paint and more details. And another pencil sketch. This is a still life that a group of us got together and sat in various parts of the table, and the still life was in the center of the table, and we all worked around, again, with the pencils and using a variety of different hardness with the pencil lead. Down below here, these are a textured, mostly acrylic, but I call them mixed media. Within them, there's some tissue paper layered in the paint and glass beads. You can really see a lot of the texture and even feel the texture in the piece. In the right light, the beads lend a little sparkle. I do several commissions, and while doing the commissions, every finished painting that I do, I get high quality digital images. And through those digital images, I download them to a company called Fine Art America. I did a home portrait of Grandma's house, and the children were able to order canvas prints and pillows for the grandchildren. And these are some of the cards of other paintings that I've done. Here is a hummingbird. This is the Bridge of Flowers. All these are available in cards through this company, as well as any kind of prints, metal prints. So this is a collage mixed media piece that I did. It has multiple different papers that have some print on them and some don't, that I basically laid out on the table to form together like a puzzle. So there's a layer of acrylic paint, the collage is then attached, and if you look closely, you can even feel it. There's ferns in here, there's some grass in here, and then on top of that is a very thin vellum paper collaged on, and then using metallic, platinum, gold, and brass paints, I did imprints of the leaves by painting different leaves and just basically sticking them on to form this texture. In addition to the texture, I'm a big fan of light, so you can see the way that the light carries through this piece. So these are some smaller pieces. Through the years, I volunteered at Berkshire County Carousel, and while there, Scott Kirchner and Bonnie Kirchner from Mad Max invited me to be in a space that they had on North Street. And while I was there, I met some great people and moved into NU Arts, and I had a studio space there for 10 years. And after my surgery, finding out about this great place, being able to be a part of the Clock Tower Artists, where they have plenty of free parking and an elevator, I had to jump on the opportunity to move here, but grateful for my experience with Scott and Mad Max and NU Arts. I've recently been encouraged to do some larger watercolors. I had a hard time finding some large paper online. I like to work with Arches paper, 300-pound cold press, and with saying that, it's usually always sold out. So I was able to have a coworker find this in a store. He knew another artist and mentioned it, and he gifted me a box of 5 sheets. What I'm going to do now is basically I'll start adding some of the branches in. Working with Skoda brushes, also a gift. I usually sketch out all my pieces. In advance. The paint that I'm using in this piece is Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith paint has minerals from gemstones, and it has a lot of granulation in it, which adds a lot of interest to the painting. My intent is to have it lighter here to appear like the light coming through the limbs. And by doing that, it gives me the opportunity to make the limb a darker shade with multiple layers. I would like to mention that I was interviewed by Harriet Candy for the Artful Mind magazine, and this month, March's issue. It would be nice if you took a look at the magazine. There's a lot of great articles in there. Also wanted to say thank you very much for having this opportunity, and thank you for watching. My name is Sally Tiska Rice. You can follow me on Facebook. And also take a look at my website, sallytiskarice.com. Thanks again.